Hey, what's up, guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my review of this week's episode of Z Nation on Syfy, which was Season 3, Episode 10, They Grow Up So Quickly. And apologizing for the lateness, but again, working midnight, work, it's just a real doozy sometimes, so unfortunately I'm not able to get my reviews out of this Vampire Diaries and Van Helsing out on time. But I did watch the episode of Z Nation last night when I got home from work. Z Nation's a show I enjoy falling back into when I get home from work, when I just feel like relaxing and just enjoying something fun. Z Nation's not the most complex show in the world, but it's definitely a good time for sure. And I really enjoyed this week's episode. I did like last week's episode just because of how personal it got with Warren and Vasquez and Hector and such. But I feel like some of the stuff with Vasquez was a little bit mistimed and not handled completely correctly. This episode I enjoyed quite a bit more, actually. It might have been one of my favorites of the season, if not my favorite of the season so far. This episode, a lot of it was very much from Doc and Addy's perspective, which I'm completely fine with. Addy is probably my favorite character on the show. And Doc is someone I've grown to appreciate even more ever since meeting Russell Hodgkinson back in October. And so I like that it was from their perspective this week as it sort of was from Warren and the others last week. So it makes sense as they're off searching for Lucy, trying to find her before Murphy figures out more so what to do with her and such. And then he also had Murphy's trying to break 10K. But we'll talk more about the Addy and Doc stuff right now. They do end up finding the family taking care of Lucy at the house, in the middle of the forest, middle of the woods. And, Lucy, she's somehow grown a good amount. She's now looks like to be a handful of years old. At least between 5 and 10 years old, it looks like. Even Addy questions that, they just say, they grow up so fast. I don't know if it might be something to do with Murphy's genes or something. I don't know, because of what he is, maybe. But, it's Z Nation, so, we'll let it go. Lucy, she has quite the elaborate, fun setup here. She's, of course, with the parents, being blended. Zombies aren't going to attack them, so the zombies that do come around sort of act as like a protection to them, so it makes sense that they're still there. And, of course, Lucy, she's able to manipulate the zombies sort of like, what Murphy can, I think. Probably not to such a large extent yet, but she's able to get them to basically be her playmates, basically be her friends. She got them to dress up in these different outfits. We get, I think there's a Lincoln zombie in there. There's one with goggles. There's one with this really pretty dress and such like that. And they're able to sit there for tea time and such. They even know how to play hide and seek. I think I liked one of the fatter zombies. I think he was trying to hide behind a slide or something. But yeah, and Addy and Doc sort of have a hell of a time trying to reach out to her, trying to sort of manipulate her into coming with them, with the parents, of course, being suspicious because of what Murphy put in their heads. There's this password that Murphy had left them with when he would send someone for him, and of course Addy and Doc don't know it. So there's a little bit of a tension involved with that. And so it's all about Addy and Doc trying to convince them that they're there just to take her to Murphy, to take her to her father, who they, promise is so great and amazing. It's like Doc says one time, he's not that great. Then they look at him and he says, he's amazing. And so I like that. And, then there's a point where Lucy asks Addy about how she is born and about her parents and such. So we get that flashback to Murphy and the pie girl. I think the pie woman was named Celine, wasn't she? But we go through flashbacks of her going down fighting and such, protecting Lucy. But of course they sugarcoat a lot of it, as well as how they met and such. How they basically did it over a blueberry pie or a cherry pie or something like that. And we get this alternate version of how things happened, how they are the king and the queen. We see Murphy and Keith Allen acting out with this crown and Celine has his tiara and such. It was some fun little shots for sure. And he also gets like this cape to go with it at one point too. So I like those alternate scenes of that. That was kind of fun. And of course, eventually, with Doc and Addy being around the zombies, they're sort of still semi-attracted to them, despite them being under Lucy's control. Of course, they're humans, they're not blends. And one of them ends up attacking Doc, and, no, not Doc, or, I think Addy, no, or, yeah, one of the zombies attacks Doc, and then Doc, I think, ends up hitting him in the head with a rock, and he kills her. And so this upsets Lucy. She goes out on the run. She runs off from them. And Addy, she's able to find Lucy, but Lucy has been cornered by this, not feral, but Enders. One of the Enders, I think, basically like a savage, very almost feral-like human. And, the Ender goes after Lucy, and Addy manages to get there in time. And we get actually a pretty good fight scene between Addy and the Sender here. It was a bit more gritty or grounded than some of the action scenes are on Z Nation. It was almost a little bit, raw, really, with how they did the movements and the hits and stuff like that. So it was pretty intense. It really showed Addy's capabilities as a survivor, I think. We know she was one of the toughest already, but I think this just solidified it. Warren's probably still meant to be a little more skilled than Addy, of course, with her training and such, but, Addy, this just solidified why Addy's my favorite character. And Addy's able to, kill the Ender with a stick and such. Oh, wait, did she kill her with a stick, or is that no, that was something else. But the Ender gets ran off because of Addy's ferocity. She lets out this roar, or sort of like primal yell, as the Ender did, and this sort of wards the Ender off, and she runs off, flees. So I thought that was all really cool. During all this chaos, I'm probably missing some things here, but the man actually shows up with Lucy now being on his list as this huge connection to Murphy and such. So while all this is going on, the man is able to capture Lucy. And, I like how the man was so irritated by Lucy in the car. She kept on talking, telling him how her daddy's going to find him and, bite his face off and such. And the man tries to shut her up in various ways. He tries to, tase her and such. She just keeps on talking. And then finally, he puts his bag over her head to, make it really hard for her to breathe. And Murphy, we see him, he actually ends up feeling this pain. And even, wakes up screaming one time. So maybe he actually experiences the same thing that Lucy goes through. So this might kind of play into how things go down in the future, perhaps. I don't know. But Murphy, meanwhile, he was, like I said, trying to break 10K. And, he had 10K do, the 5-finger thing with a knife and such. Just seeing how much his willingness to do what Murphy says went. And, we see 10K still in pain because of it, but you still get that feeling that 10K is in there somewhere. And Murphy just wants to be as sure as possible that he can trust 10K, or trust that 10K will do what he says, because they have a history and he knows that might play more of a factor into how this manipulation goes and such. But I like Murphy's connection to Lucy being shown. And, Murphy, he was sort of set up as our big bad this season, but I wonder if Murphy ends up going after Lucy directly, maybe that'll sort of bring him and Warren on the same side of things again somehow. I don't know. I don't know how Murphy's ever going to just be one of the group again, but it'd be interesting to see. And I still think Murphy's an essential part of the show right now, but I'm just not sure how much longer he's going to be on, depending on what they do with him. But Keith Allen, he's just such a fun talent, so it'd be a shame not to have the show with him anymore. But yeah. And once all the chaos goes down with the man and such, of course, the parents that were there, they end up turning on Addy and Doc, thinking they are a part of the man taking their child. And Addy, she was with Lucy at this point, but she was knocked out, almost killed by the man. It's almost a little bit concerning when Doc was following these drops of blood, and it led to Addy. I would hope they wouldn't kill off Addy just like that, but they didn't, luckily. She might have had a little bit of a concussion, but she's able to wake up from it. And of course, the parents attack Doc, and Addy helps him kill one of them with a garden gnome, which is pretty awesome. Kill of the week might have went to Doc, though, because he ended up using this flare and he stuck it into the guy's head, and just the effect that went with that was pretty cool, I thought. So kill of the week goes to Doc. But yeah, I like Addy's work this week too as well. And she's just really pissed off, really determined. Her and Doc separate. Doc's going to go on the radio, try and contact Citizen Z or hopefully Warren to get more help. And Addy, meanwhile, she's going after the man directly herself. She gets on this motorcycle. She looks pissed and determined as hell. So I can't wait to see what Addy pulls off next. The man, he's something different, but with Addy on his ass, I don't think he knows what he's in for. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought about this week's episode. I really enjoyed it. I'm going to give it about an 8.7 out of 10, I think. Probably one of, if not my favorite episode of the season so far. Let me know what you guys thought about it. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.